Okay, welcome back. Part two. This is about sustaining yourself and keeping going, which is, I think, a really important thing. So I laid out my stall, but let me talk now about kind of sustaining your engagement or things of that nature. I really want to try and provide in these few weeks here some lessons that really sustain your interest and your engagement. That's not easy to do, but I'm going to try. And I've got a mantra for this as well, which is there's no such thing as 10-minute abs. And that's the kind of thing that you see on a magazine cover, 10-minute abs. I always see that and think, man, that's crazy. There's no such thing as 10-minute abs, so we need sustained work. I know you already get that, but that's why, again, going back to my previous video, I teach the way that I do. I'll share a bit of my experience, which is about the best lessons I've ever received. And they're always the ones that give me either a new or a clear instruction, a really new instruction or a really clear instruction that I could easily relate to producing development and gains for me across all that I do. So imagine a new instruction from a teacher that can provide development or gains in something that affects all that you do. And again, it comes back to kind of fundamental principles, the type which I talked about in the previous video. But this is even bigger than that. This could be to do with physical movement. This could be to do with just a way of thinking or an openness to something. But I think those two things are really important, whether something was new or whether it was really clear. One of the things I'm guilty of, I think, is not always being clear. So I hope this is quite clear now. And those are always the best lessons I received. Lots of you have heard me use the phrase, play the rests. That wasn't clear at first, but it was new. And then when it was made clear, then it was both, and that really helped me. Okay, more on that another time. Okay, so some other good examples of that are understanding intervals. That's the thing that I couldn't do. And then when I got into it, I realized that was something I would never exhaust. Being able to play chords within a key, that's something I think about all the time, as you know, and I'm really working on that still. I remember those keyboard classes where we had to play 1C 27571, 27B 1C 571. There you go. I'm still working on it now. We had to play those in all keys, and those of you that know me well know that I'm still working on that all the time. And the last one is relating all printed or audio music to mathematical principles in rhythm. And that was huge for me, absolutely huge. And I'm still working on that. I work on all of those things every day. And you see me do it in class, and you see me do it outside of class, and hopefully you're aware of my desire and my gains that I make, which you can see over a 2-year period, and my efforts to try and develop those things. And I never tire of them. I can get frustrated with them, but I never tire. I never wake up and think, oh, I'm done with learning about chords, or I'm done with trying to work on my rhythmic skills or anything like that. Never. So that's cool. Cool. I find that my engagement is sustained in these things because I know that they're fundamental to everything that I love in music. All the incredible kind of quote-unquote lift-off moments or just like freak-out moments that I enjoy, they all contain these basic fundamental principles, from a musical perspective at least. And we'll close with this. It's hard to separate situational things from rhythm, harmony, and melody. I get that. okay, I do get that. You know, I was reading some stuff on blogs yesterday, which is, you know, reasonably against the notion of studying music. Fairly ironic thing on a music blog, but you know, let's run with that for the time being. But I'm going to try and provide a counter argument, which is that all those situational things still rely, the ultimate value still relies on that. And that's why I've got all these things here, you know, like mixtapes on the iPod. Like, that's pretty cool. Still full of music that contains harmony, melody, and rhythm. You know, all of these kind of things here. Yep. There's a lot of music study here. Okay, granted, Joni Mitchell studied art, not music, but she did have piano lessons as a child. John Coltrane, he enlisted in a university before he went to the army, and then he went back after he finished his service. He went back and studied music. Robert Glasper is a University of Music graduate, and so is Steve Reich. I just put 4 CDs that were on the top of the pile. It won't surprise you that those 4. And it's interesting that, like, I didn't intend for them to be so kind of color coordinated, but there we go. That's cool. Right. What's that doing there? Well, you all know me well. Like, hanging out, coffee house vibe. You know, it's something that's important to me, but always, you know, all that kind of hip stuff is still fueled by this stuff, which is fueled by, ultimately, this stuff. And this is the book that still beats me up every time I open it. I can't do all the stuff in it, but I've had it for a long time, and it's very, very important. It sustains my interest and my engagement, and it fuels all of these other kinds of cool things, whether it be like hanging with your friends, drinking coffee, or you know, late at night listening to your iPod by yourself, reflecting on stuff, or you know, on your way to a gig, like getting the mix really gassed on the way to the Roundhouse in Camden or whatever it is. I can remember all that kind of stuff, so that's great. But it all ties in here, you know. Still got this piece of paper in the middle. There you go. Common rhythmic patterns. You'll find that and all of that stuff. So that's good. I hope that makes sense, and reflect on that. And if you have trouble or really dislike what I've said in this video, we can have a conversation about that. But there we go. It's a music school, and that's the deal. Last thing, which is, I don't know if you can see this book. This book was a present that my parents gave me when I completed my level 3 music course. Obviously, for some of you year 2s, the completion of your level 3 music course is going to be very different. So again, I just put that there to remind you that, you know, we're here, we're doing it, and we'll do our best by trying to close it out for you in the best possible way. Okay, cool. We'll get to the content videos shortly. Okay, see you in part 3. Bye.